The Orphic hymns, and doing magic like a Renaissance mage, using just classical, Renaissance, and earlier sources. Hello everyone, this is Taliesin McKnight. Thank you for joining me today. Today I'm going to talk about a little bit about the Orphic hymns and how to use them. They're easily available online. You can get the Orphic hymns. Very simple. I'm going to break this down in such a simple way that someone can do classical magic like a Renaissance magician. Classical magic like a Renaissance mage, using only pre-modern classical magic sources. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about spirit evocation, working with celestial spirits, because as we read in Agrippa, we have a peopled cosmos. Every star, every planet has a being, an entity that we can communicate with and ask for things. And also the star, here in the elemental world, every planet, every plant, every stone is associated with a certain star. So today I'm going to be talking about the Agrippa's 3 books of occult philosophy, which was written in the 16th century, and how to use this to do magic, whether it's making talismans or the calling forth of spirits. So this is classical Renaissance magic. And again, this was published in the 16th century, Agrippa's 3 books of occult philosophy. I go a lot into this text here. By the way, I've put a link for those that want to buy a copy. I really like this compact version. Really excellent. A lot of times I bring the big one out. So today I'm going to talk about very simple ways that you can work with this. The Orphic hymns, you can look these up online. The Orphic hymns. The Orphic hymns actually date back to the 2nd, 3rd century. They date back to before paganism had completely died in the Roman Empire. So the Orphic hymns are used by Agrippa. So if we open up the 3 books of occult philosophy, and at its most basic, let's say you want to make a talisman of Jupiter or a talisman of the sun. There is astrological timing. Last night I made a video for Patreon going in depth into the main factors of astrological timing, which I'm also going to go into here. I'm not like hiding that or anything. But I'm going to read from the 3 books of occult philosophy where it mentions the Orphic hymns. These were written in the 2nd, 3rd century. They were invocations of various deities of the planets. And Marsilio Ficino used them and extolled their virtue in the 14th century in Florence, Italy. And then Agrippa, a century later, is talking about them here. So the Orphic hymns were very important and very useful, highly extolled by Agrippa in Renaissance magic. Now, Renaissance means rebirth. So this is the period after the Middle Ages, or the medieval period, or the Dark Ages as they were termed by Petrarch. And this was Renaissance means rebirth. People in the Renaissance were looking back at the classical people in the Renaissance were looking back at the classical period. At its most basic, get the incense of the planet at its day and hour. You would want to look at some planetary factors. You want the planet well dignified and stuff. And you would wave the talisman in the incense smoke while reciting the Orphic hymn or other such thing. The Key of Solomon, that's my buddy messaging me. Bad timing, my good friend. But like the Key of Solomon, totally different grimoires from the Renaissance. The Key of Solomon has you wave the talisman in the incense smoke. Picatrix, the classic grimoire from the Middle Ages, has you wave the talisman in the incense smoke with words. Agrippa mentions it in his 4th book of occult philosophy. So waving the talisman, so at its most basic, when the planet is well placed, at the hour of the planet, day and hour, Wave the talisman in the incense smoke, recite the Orphic hymn, and that consecrates the talisman. For talisman creation, you could go to the 3 books of occult. At its most, like, how do you design a pentacle? Well, right here in Book 2, Chapter 22 of the 3 books of occult philosophy, the tables of the planets. On one side, you could put the planetary kamya, or the planetary square, either using Hebrew letters or the numbers, and you could put the seal of the planet and its intelligence. And then write around it your goal. So on one side you can have the kamya, or the magical square of the planet, and then on the other side of the talisman you could put the sigils of the intelligence and the seal of the planet, and write around it in a ring your goal. Very simple. Talismans can be, ideally, people like to make them from the metal of the planet, such as tin for Jupiter, or copper for Venus, or iron for Mars. You can get sheets of these metals on eBay. Very easy, very simple to get. It's not that expensive, very easy to get. You can get little engravers. The Key of Solomon mentions talismans made from parchment or vellum, which is animal skin. You could use paper talismans. People use paper talismans. You could get the color of the planet, hold it in the incense smoke, and recite the Orphic hymn. Or also, if you're wanting to do spirit evocation, you can call forth the entity you're working with under the planet, recite the Orphic hymn, and then do a particular invocation of that entity, and look in the scrying stone. Maybe anoint the stone with the oils. So this is using all 3 worlds of Agrippa's. That's why Agrippa's 3 books of occult philosophy, it's in 3 books. You have natural magic, which is using stones and herbs, metals, things like that here below. Then you have the factor of astrological timing. This view of magic is not so much the modern, it's just intention, I just do whatever, which is fine. I'm in no way shunning modern magic at all. But in the classical model, there were other factors at work. They believed that it did help. It couldn't hurt, it would help to do it at an astrologically auspicious time, using items or correspondences as a way of drawing down that power. But anyways, the Orphic hymns. By the way, half of my videos now are on Patreon only, and half of them are on Facebook and then put on YouTube. So, and after a year, all of my videos go public. After a year, all of it goes. So I want all knowledge to be free. So instead of like charging for classes and you get the knowledge if you pay for it or whatever, it all goes to everyone. Free knowledge for everybody. But as a way to monetize my content, I'm putting half of my stuff on Patreon only. After a year, it'll be released. And I've been doing 2 videos a day. Every morning or afternoon, I do a video for everybody here. And then at night, I do a Patreon only video. I'm not sure how long I can maintain that kind of steam, maybe forever. But if I start to get worn out, I may have to do like every other day, public, But anyways, but every other video is on Patreon. I've got a link to my Patreon. You want to support my channel. Agrippa in book 1, chapter 71, of the many words joined together, as in sentences and verses, and of the virtues and restrictions of the charms. The Orphic hymns, you can look them up online. Thomas Taylor did a translation. They're more modern, more academic translations as well nowadays. But the Orphic hymns, you can look up the Orphic hymn to Jupiter, the Orphic hymn to the sun, the Orphic hymn to Venus or the moon, whatever planet you're working with. Burn the incense of the planet, recite the Orphic hymn using the tables of Agrippa. You can, book 2, chapter 22, you see the numbers of the planets. You can use the color of the planet, the candles, the number of candles, like 7 for Venus, 6 for the sun. But he says here in book 1, chapter 71, it says here, moreover, magicians command that we call upon and pray by the names of the same star or name to them whom such a verse belongs, by their wonderful things or miracles, by their courses and the ways of their sphere, by their light, by the dignity of their kingdom, by the beauty and brightness that is in it, by their strong and powerful virtues and such as these. Here Agrippa says, besides with the diverse sorts of the names of the stars, they command us to call upon them by the names of the intelligences, ruling over the stars themselves, of which we shall speak more at large in their proper place. They that desire further examples of these, let them search into the hymns of Orpheus. Let them search into the hymns of Orpheus. That's the 3 books of occult philosophy, book 171, than which nothing is more efficacious in natural magic, if they together with their circumstances, which wise men know, be used according to a due harmony, with all attention. So the Orphic hymns are in Agrippa. They're used by Marsilio Ficino. At its most basic, when the planet is well placed, the hour of the planet, you could think of the talisman, whether it's a paper talisman, or use the metal or the stone, even better, and engrave it. You could put the table of the planets from Agrippa. You could put the seal and the sigil of the intelligence. Wave it in the incense smoke and recite the Orphic hymn. Write the desire around it. You can do paper talismans. I really want people to experiment. Or spirit evocation and try to scry. Try to communicate. You could call the spirits without making talismans, but talismans are said to be a way to, like, make concrete, to give a vehicle for that spirit. And not all astrological magicians work with spirits. Some people just work with quote unquote the magic of the stars without considering that next level up. But the Orphic hymns, very powerful, very useful. Normally my hair's all slicked back because I take a shower, then I come right into a video. Today I started a little bit later now. My hair's all poofy. The incenses. Key of Solomon. So what kind of incense? You know, incense, I like to use just a frankincense myrrh combo as a general, like church incense. Alternatively, you can do like myrrh for Saturn, cedar for Jupiter, dragon's blood, a little bit of pepper for Mars, olibanum for the sun, benzoin or rose for Venus, storax for Mercury, jasmine for the moon. So there are different ways, but basically these are the ingredients of classical magic. Your incense, your planetary auspicious time to call down into the talisman or the scrying ball if you're scrying. For spirit evocation, talisman construction, you're beginning to communicate with celestial spirits. We're living in a peopled cosmos. And how do you have that communication? Which transmits it? The anima mundi, the soul of the world soul, as we see in the Platonic writings. So what we have here, you could see a lot of these techniques in the Greek magical papyri from late antiquity, from like 2,000 years ago. So what we have here is we have this ancient magic that has been carried on into the Renaissance. And you're dealing with the 3 worlds. You have natural magic of the using material things, manipulating objects, the celestial magic, and then you have the divine as a way of calling down and of working with the divine realm of ideas and archetypes. So this is the 3-world model. So that's just a quick video for y'all. Like I said, every other video is going to be just on Patreon. And then, like, if I can't handle this, the just doing twice a day, it may be every other day here and then on Patreon. But eventually, all of that will go to everybody. So knowledge is for everyone. But that's just a quick video for y'all today. Magic, not doing any modern books, any modern stuff. All of the material is from this, 16th century and earlier. We're working with classical magic. In particular, from the 3 books of occult philosophy published in the 16th century. So doing magic like a Renaissance mage, it's really not that complicated. You can do it with just a few ingredients. It's very simple. Okay, so that's just a quick video for y'all, and thank you so much for joining me, and I will see y'all in the next video. Have a great day, y'all.